What's happening, people? It's DJ Sketch, and I'm back with another video for you. It's going to be some more E3 hype train coverage for 2017. I thought I covered enough in the first video, but I was completely mistaken because there was a whole lot more to look at. First off, let's get right to the Sony conference. So, aside from the crowd being underwhelmed, at least on camera, I mean, every time they panned out that crowd, they either looked extremely bored, were tweeting or doing something involving social media, or just not clapping or looking interested at all. There were some really cool things they talked about and also showed on film. One of which being Shadow of the Colossus. I would assume remastered by the way it looked. Remake, I don't think so, but even either way, either would be cool. Either would be very cool, because that's one of the best PS2 games that ever was released. As far as I'm concerned, I will vouch for that because I have that, and also its counterpart Eco, both released by the same company. And also The Last Guardian. I haven't played it, but I don't know if it compares to either of those, but even still, same parties involved. So if you thought either of that little triangle or trifecta is good, then honestly, if you're a PS4 owner, I'd imagine you'd probably be excited. But also, more Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite information came out. Aside from the demos that are playable, as far as for the story mode in the background, that are available on PS4 and Xbox One as of right this moment. So if you have any curiosity about that game, as of right now, you can play it for yourself. Same build that the people at E3 are playing, you can get it for yourself. Just check your respective store, either on Xbox or PSN. They have, both of them have it, so either way, check it out. And also the big dog that everybody was waiting to hear what was going to be going on with it, Call of Duty World War II. I mean, at a glance, it looks a lot like Battlefield 1. I'm not even going to stun on this one. It looks a lot like Battlefield 1. But at the same time, it also seems like it's moving at the same pace as World at War did. But also at the same time, they only saw really, as far as the 2 to 3 minutes or so trailer that was revealed for the multiplayer. You got like barely an hors d'oeuvre with that is the best way that I can describe it. But there's going to be a beta coming out for that in August. But also, along with that beta, there's going to be another Activision beta that's coming up soon, which is going to be Destiny, which will be out in July, which also looks great, but also they really didn't reveal much more about it aside from what they showed in the reveal a few weeks, maybe almost a month prior to the E3 Sony event. So that, I mean, basically, if you watch that event, I imagine you have a pretty solid idea as to what to expect from Destiny 2, which at the moment looks promising. I mean, the first game, I played it for nearly 3 years, so they kept me hooked, and they kept a lot of my people hooked, so that goes to show. Aside from that, Detroit Becoming Human, that also looks like a really cool new IP that was also broadcasted on the Sony conference, which looks cool. I really, like, as far as the story, I'm not really sure exactly what it's supposed to be about, but it looks like it's going to be what Cyberpunk 2077, at least what the fans of what that game was going to be, were going to be expecting, hopefully to hear about this year. But I know that's been delayed, but this seems like it might be a good little stop to the drain, you know? This actually might be something to hold over until that comes out, or until we get more information about it. But also, Ubisoft, overall, there were some things that I really liked about their conference. Also, things that I just didn't really care for at all, just because it's, I guess, not saying that it's bad games, I'm not saying that by any means. It's just saying it's not really things that really appeal to me, you know. But they had Far Cry 5, which looks like it's going to be sick. I mean, I'm sure people are going to complain about this one. Just because of the subject matter, and also because it's set in America and not an exotic, at sometimes third world country. And you know, this one I'm honestly really anticipating this one coming out. So I've played all the Far Cry games to this point, except for Primal, just because that just did not look interesting to me. I'm sorry. And also at the end of their Ubisoft conference, there was also the reveal for Beyond Good and Evil 2. And again, if you've played the original, people were waiting for this one for a long time, so that's awesome that they finally did it. It's better late than never, but even still, I was really happy to see that they actually did that, and also it made it look like it was going to be a very solid sequel. I know that language kind of sounds redundant, but even still, I hope you get what I'm trying to say. And also, just happened today was the Nintendo conference, which actually they had some very cool heavy hitters of their own. Aside from Skyrim getting VR, which I didn't really speak about much of on the Bethesda conference, on the Switch, the Switch is actually going to be having some heavy hitters. Like, I was actually very surprised to see like they're actually going to have a more or less pretty solid roster, not only for this year but next year. I don't have a Switch yet. I don't have a Wii U, but even so, this makes me kind of consider getting a Switch just because of what's going to be coming up soon. So there's going to be a new Kirby, which essentially looks like it's going to be Kirby's Adventure, but multiplayer, and also in full HD, 3D. I mean, the original game was awesome, but still at the same time, just the fact that if you can play this one, play that game with friends, and also play through the entire game was awesome. Honestly, like, the Kirby's Adventure is also one of my favorite games, probably of all time, to be completely honest with you. And also, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, need not say more. And also, Metroid Prime 4. This one, I wish I showed gameplay of this one. I imagine they might show more of this as E3 goes on, because this is still just the announcement. Just the fact that they actually announced Metroid Prime 4. So stoked on that. Aside from also Yoshi, which looks just like a heavily upgraded version of Yoshi's Island, which is going to be coming out in 2018, unfortunately. But even still, there's a lot that's coming out this year too. Fire Emblem Warriors, Zelda items are going to be coming to the Switch version of Skyrim. Pokken and Splatoon are going to be having like invitationals, so you can also, if you want to try to get down and get bucked and do your thing as far as competitive scene, have at it. Mario and Rabbids, the Ubisoft Nintendo crossover, no one saw that coming. That's going to be happening this year, which looks very, very similar to Mario RPG. And also the thing I'm going to close off with on this one, Rocket League is going to be coming to the Switch as well. And it's also going to be multi-plat. So if you want to play with somebody that's on Xbox One or PS4 or PC, from the sound of it, what they say on this little conference thing, you can be able to do that. So, and also on top of everything else, you don't have to wait till next year to do that. It's going to be happening late October this year. So, thank you for checking out the video. And we're going to see what else E3 has to offer, because really this is just the press conference side of it, and there's still more, because the festival quote fingers conference just really begun. So we'll see what they got.